The night sky exploded in neon green as the first alien ships broke through the atmosphere, their massive shadow casting a chill over the American heartland. This wasn't some UFO sighting. This was an invasion. And they picked the wrong country to invade. In 1977, most Americans thought the biggest threat to their existence was the Cold War. The United States and the Soviet Union were locked in an arms race, each side stockpiling enough nuclear weapons to destroy the world 100 times over. But deep inside a secret military base in Nevada, the U.S. government knew that there was a far greater danger waiting in the stars. And that danger was no longer waiting. America had been preparing for this moment for over 3 decades. Ever since the first alien ship crashed in Roswell, New Mexico. It had been covered up, called a weather balloon, a hoax, a conspiracy theory. But behind the scenes, the brightest minds in the country had been working tirelessly, using alien technology to build weapons and defenses for a war no one else even knew was coming. That project was called Project Sentinel. And tonight, the world would find out just how prepared the United States really was. It started like any other day in the suburbs of America. Kids were playing in the streets, their bikes strewn across front lawns. Fathers were mowing lawns, and mothers were bringing in laundry from the line. But as the sun set, something changed. A low hum filled the air, a sound that vibrated deep in the bones, making people stop and look up. At first, it was just a few strange lights in the sky. Then the clouds began to ripple, glowing with an eerie greenish hue, and suddenly, the air was filled with something that was very much not human. Alien ships, sleek and dark, like metallic birds of prey, descended from the sky, hundreds of them. They hovered above the cities New York, Los Angeles, Washington, D.C., and everywhere in between. But the largest cluster of ships was headed for the American Southwest, straight for Nevada. The Zyrellians had come. In the Oval Office, President Gerald McKenzie stood staring at the television screen, his jaw tight. The broadcasts were playing scenes of panic from every corner of the country. People were flooding the streets, pointing at the sky, their faces a mix of fear and disbelief. The president turned to General Samuel Drake, the man in charge of America's secret alien defense program. "Is this it? Is this what you've been preparing for?" General Drake nodded grimly. "Yes, sir. The Zyrellians are here. But so are we." "Then it's time," the president said. "Initiate Project Sentinel." The Zyrellians weren't just any aliens. They were an empire that had conquered countless worlds, absorbing their technology, their cultures, and their resources. To them, Earth was just another stop on their path to galactic domination. Their soldiers, tall and menacing, clad in biomechanical armor that shimmered in the light, marched out of their ships like an unstoppable force. They were humanoid but far more advanced, their skin a pale, almost translucent white, with sharp features and glowing eyes that betrayed their otherworldly intelligence. The first of their ground forces touched down in Las Vegas, the city of lights flickering as alien energy pulses knocked out the power grid. Panic swept the streets as people screamed and ran, but the Zyrellians were efficient. They moved like a well-oiled machine, subduing the population with minimal resistance, using weapons that could disintegrate matter in seconds. But they hadn't counted on the resistance they would face in America's desert. Deep beneath the Nevada desert, inside the heavily fortified walls of Area 51, the heart of Project Sentinel was coming to life. Engineers and military personnel rushed through the corridors, preparing for the battle they had anticipated for decades. In the center of it all stood Dr. Amelia Sato, one of the world's foremost scientists on alien technology. She had spent years working in secret, reverse engineering Zyrellian tech from the Roswell crash and other alien artifacts collected over the years. Next to her stood Major Jack Harper, a battle-hardened Air Force pilot who had been training for this very moment. He had flown every aircraft in the U.S. military's arsenal, but nothing compared to the ship that stood before him now, the X-17 Valkyrie, a sleek, jet-black craft that combined the best of human and alien engineering. "This is it," Dr. Sato said, her voice tight with both fear and excitement. "The Valkyrie is our best shot at stopping them." Major Harper grinned, slipping on his helmet. "Best shot? Hell, I'd say it's our only shot." The X-17 Valkyrie was no ordinary fighter jet. It was designed to be piloted through a neural interface, linking directly to the pilot's brain, allowing for instantaneous reactions and maneuvers that would be impossible with traditional controls. Its weapons system had been upgraded with alien plasma technology, capable of penetrating even the most advanced energy shields. And perhaps most importantly, it was fast. Faster than anything the Zyrellians had ever seen. As Major Harper climbed into the cockpit, he felt the ship come to life around him, syncing with his thoughts, his instincts. He could feel the hum of the alien power core beneath him, ready to unleash its devastating energy. "Let's show these bastards what humanity's made of," he muttered, his eyes narrowing as the hangar doors above him opened, revealing the star-filled sky. Above the Nevada desert, the Zyrellian ships were beginning their assault on America's military bases. Nellis Air Force Base was the first target. Zyrellian plasma beams tore through hangars and runways, leaving smoldering craters in their wake. Soldiers scrambled to return fire, but their conventional weapons were useless against the aliens' advanced shields. That's when the X-17 Valkyrie shot into the sky. Major Harper felt a rush of adrenaline as the ship responded to his every thought, moving faster than any fighter jet he had ever flown. He locked onto the nearest Zyrellian ship, a sleek, triangular vessel bristling with weapons. With a thought, he fired the Valkyrie's plasma cannons, watching as the green bolts of energy streaked through the sky and slammed into the alien ship. The Zyrellian ship's shields flickered, then shattered. "Gotcha," Harper muttered as the alien craft exploded in a ball of fire. The other Zyrellian ships quickly realized they were up against something different. They turned their attention to the Valkyrie, firing plasma beams in every direction. But Harper was ready. The neural link allowed him to react in the blink of an eye, dodging the beams with precision and speed that no human pilot could have matched. He weaved through the air, firing volley after volley of plasma bolts, taking down Zyrellian ships one by one. Below him, American forces began to rally. Inspired by the Valkyrie's success, they launched a coordinated counterattack. Modified tanks, armed with alien-derived railguns, opened fire on the Zyrellian ground forces, finally piercing their energy shields. Soldiers, armed with experimental plasma rifles, began to push the aliens back, fighting with a ferocity that the Zyrellians had not expected. But the battle was far from over. High above the battlefield, the Zyrellian mothership hovered, a colossal structure that blotted out the stars. It was the command center of the invasion, and inside, the Zyrellian leader, Supreme Commander Vrax, watched the battle unfold. His pale, angular face was emotionless as he observed the humans' resistance. "They are more formidable than we anticipated," one of his advisors said, a slight tremor in his voice. Vrax narrowed his glowing eyes. "They are primitive, but dangerous. We will crush them." The Zyrellian mothership began to charge its main weapon, a massive energy cannon capable of leveling an entire city in a single shot. Vrax's plan was simple. Destroy the humans' largest population centers, demoralize their forces, and force them into submission. But on the ground, Major Harper and the team at Area 51 had other plans. In the war room at Area 51, Dr. Sato stared at the screen in horror as the Zyrellian mothership began to power up its weapon. "They're going to destroy Las Vegas," she whispered. "We have to stop them." General Drake turned to her, his face grim. "Can the Valkyrie take out that mothership?" Dr. Sato hesitated. "Maybe, but it would have to get past their shields. And their defenses are overwhelming." General Drake didn't miss a beat. "Then we take down their shields." "How?" asked one of the officers. "Nothing we have can penetrate them." Dr. Sato's eyes lit up as an idea formed. "Wait, maybe we can't, but they can." She quickly pulled up schematics of the Zyrellian ships. Their shields are powered by a central core, located deep within the mothership. If we can overload it, we could cause a chain reaction that brings down the entire shield network. "And how do we overload it?" General Drake asked. "We send in a bomb," Dr. Sato said. "But it has to be delivered directly into the core. It's a suicide mission." There was silence in the room for a moment. Then a voice crackled over the intercom. "I'll do it." It was Major Harper. The plan was simple. Harper would fly the Valkyrie into the Zyrellian mothership, navigate through their defenses, and deliver the bomb directly into the shield core. It was a one-way trip, but if he succeeded, it would give humanity a fighting chance. As Harper flew toward the mothership, he couldn't help but feel a strange sense of calm. This was what he had trained for. This was his moment. The Valkyrie sped toward the colossal ship, dodging Zyrellian fighters and plasma fire. As Harper approached the hull, the ship's automated defenses kicked in laser turrets, missile batteries, and energy beams lit up the sky. But Harper was in the zone. His neural link allowed him to maneuver with pinpoint precision, weaving through the barrage of firepower like a phantom. Almost there, he muttered, his hands tight on the controls. The Valkyrie punched through the ship's outer defenses, flying into a narrow maintenance tunnel that led straight to the shield core. Alarms blared inside the ship as Zyrellian drones swarmed to intercept him, but Harper was too fast. He blasted through the drones, his eyes locked on the target. The shield core was a massive, glowing sphere of energy, pulsing with raw power. Harper armed the bomb and set it on a collision course with the core. "This is for Earth," he whispered as he slammed the Valkyrie into the core. The explosion was instantaneous. The shield core detonated in a massive burst of energy, and the entire mothership shuddered as its shields collapsed. Outside, the Zyrellian ships faltered, their defenses crumbling as the chain reaction spread through their fleet. With the Zyrellian shields down, the U.S. military launched an all-out assault. Railguns, plasma cannons, and missile strikes rained down on the alien fleet. The Zyrellian ships, now vulnerable, exploded one by one, crashing to the ground in fiery wrecks. On the battlefield, the remaining Zyrellian soldiers found themselves outmatched. Human soldiers, armed with plasma rifles and exosuits, pushed the aliens back, retaking city after city. The tide had turned. In the sky, the Zyrellian mothership, crippled by the explosion, began to descend, its engines failing. It crashed into the Nevada desert, sending up a massive cloud of dust and debris. The battle was over. The Zyrellian invasion had been stopped. Humanity had won, but the cost had been high. Major Harper's sacrifice had saved millions of lives, but it had come at the ultimate price. In the aftermath, President Mackenzie addressed the nation from the Oval Office. "Today, we faced an enemy unlike any we have ever known. An enemy that sought to conquer our world, to take away our freedom, our way of life. But today, we showed them what it means to be human. We showed them our courage, our resilience, and our unbreakable spirit. Major Jack Harper gave his life to protect this planet, and we will never forget his sacrifice. The Zyrellians thought they could defeat us. They thought we were weak. But today, they learned the truth. Humanity will never be conquered. The world would never be the same. The Zyrellians had come to Earth expecting an easy victory. But they had underestimated the one thing that made humanity truly special, its indomitable will to survive. In the end, it wasn't advanced technology or alien power that had won the day. It was the human spirit. As the sun set over the Nevada desert, the wreckage of the Zyrellian fleet still smoldering in the distance, the world knew one thing for certain. Humanity was here to stay.